Hi, welcome back to the channel. We are doing some DIYs in the shop. I am working on some spring-inspired makeovers. I am so super excited because in Michigan, it's just now starting to kiss on where we can start bringing our outdoor stuff out and putting it out, and maybe start thinking about doing some annuals, doing a lot of yard work. And then I just happened to run across this as I'm crinkling paper. Look at this. It is bendable little scallops. And I have the perfect terracotta pots for these. It can be a terracotta pot junkie that I would be right there. We could make a club. Yeah. But I got these in a lot that I bought, and as you see, they're newer. They don't have the little rim. They do have the hole in the bottom, which is usually what I like for outdoors drainage, because I use a lot of them more for decor than I do to plant anything in. You can totally plant in them, but they're just kind of plain. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, would that not be so cute? Which we'll probably be painting these up. It came with a double stick and a glue. I'm not using that. I'm not using that, especially if you end up putting these outside. That's not going to last. So I'll end up I'm going to do some tight bond. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take a measuring tape, measure what I think I need. Just going to get a third hand here and clamp that on. There we go. Okay, I'm going to push this all the way around. So it looks like it's right there. I haven't let go of my spot yet. Okay, so there we are. Seeing if I can kind of mark it with my nail. It's very thick. It's rubber-like. Spread my glue all around. Oh, I almost put it on upside down. Okay, so hold. Okay. Gonna wrap that around. Take another one. Around, because see, I think it stretches a little bit even when I cut that exact measurement, but I'm gonna get it taped on first. Acting like my extra hands here, so I'm just gonna take some painter's tape, start from the inside, gonna hold that, and then I'm really going to press it in, trying to make this adhere down to the terracotta. Watch it, or don't press. I pushed it down a little bit. There you go. Yes, the reel I saw this in, I'm like, oh, it looks so easy. Yeah. Always looks easy on a reel. Not if you're watching my channel. I'm not going to lie to you. Let me tell you how it really works. Okay, so we're just making sure that it stays up, pushing it in, having the tape hold as a clamp. It needs all those point of contacts. So it's stretched just enough that it's overlapping now when it's stretched. So I'm going to try to cut that off. There we go. That's what we needed it to do. And now one more piece of tape to hold it down. Okay, Just let it dry for an hour or so. The quick and thick dries in about an hour. Okay, let's see how we did and where we should go from here. It's like doing it blind because you don't see what it's doing. Not bad. Not bad. There is some gap edge, even though I tried, not to have any gap edge, but so I'm going to mix up some sea salt texture in with some of the moss green. Ooh, I think that'll be fun. So equal measure, mix 2 level scoops into 8-ounce, well, it says Dixie Bells, but I'm not using Dixie Bells. This is what we have. This is what I'm using. Oh. See, it kind of gives it a gritty, so that should fill in those holes. Or help hide the holes, either way, see? So, like, you can wet terracotta down too if you need to, but I think I'll be just fine the way, because I'm doing it this way. I don't personally like the gaps. Be able to rise it up that way, and then we'll just go around the rim, just using the edge of the brush. There again, just trying to fill in the gap. There's really not as much of a gap on this, but okay, now I'm going to seal the paint in. The paint's dry. Probably going to do a little bit more to it, but let's seal that in first. Now, I'm not positive if this next step is going to work. I'm going to patina here and there with the iron paint and the green and the blue. I don't, you know what? Sometimes you just go for it. I envision like some turquoise in here, but not painting it. I've sealed it in, so it doesn't have to be solid. I'm going to take the blue Dixie Belle. It's not really going to stick to the other, but I feel like I got to do it all over. And then some of the green. Set it back on its little guy, and then see what happens. So this is what it looked like with the patina, and I wasn't in love, but then I played around with some pen art waxes, and I am in love. I just really wanted you to be able to see the detail, plus cover up the gaps in that. Oh, that's fun. Just this is the fun thing about crafting, is you just sometimes it takes a different path and then you just roll with it. Pentar antiquing wax in this blue color, and then it's a gel, so it's thick. So then they have the turquoise, and then we're going in with some of the DIY dust. So I'm just going to go ahead and put all the blue all over that. That's what I did there. I mixed the two together. I got all the blue first. Still leaving some of the green, some of the patina that I tried on there. So now we'll go in with the green. And then we're just pouncing it in there, kind of pushing it into that gel that we just put in. And then here, that I think that's what brought out the scallops up here, is doing that too. Which is what I kind of thought that I could achieve with, maybe I should have just put it all over it, but I still wanted you to be able to see the yummy green. And then we're going to seal it all in, weather defense. It's just a little watering can. You can tell that it's been used. It's got some patina to it. Its image is coming off because unfortunately that's just what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can sand the rest of this off. Well, I got most of it off. Took the air compressor, tried to clean off whatever was in there. I'm going to take a little bit of the rubbing alcohol and cleaning the inside. I think it could use a little extra cleaning. Like I said, the alcohol dries pretty easily, so that makes it easy to use as a cleaner on metal. For the ease of painting, I'm just going to go ahead and tape off this bottom area to make sure it stays clean. I'm going to go ahead and use some shellac as a primer to help paint stick to this. Just going to get a nice coat on everything. Kind of have a mystery color. I had like maybe an overabundance one time when I was mixing up Sweet Pickins paint. I think that it's Cheshire and basil that's in here. But I thought, well, I might as well get it used up before it gets too contaminated sitting in this cup. So that's what the little watering can is going to be. I don't even know how many scoops are in there, so I'm just going to add some water and see how it goes. It's pretty forgiving. Once you've used it enough, you kind of know. There we go. I'm going to say the Cheshire because it's got a little bit of a blue tint to it. So it's a nice, like a dark sage. This is what it looks like it's turning into. I'm not going to worry about trying to keep it off the edge, small edge. Get my hard to reach places first. Places that you're like, oh shoot, I'm all done and I didn't get that. You get them first, then you don't have to worry about it. That's my reasoning anyway. It's just a cute little can. So now I'm just going to take some sandpaper, just sand down so it's nice and smooth. If it distresses it, it distresses it. It's all good. I'm going to seal that all in now that I have it sanded. Weather defense, I'm going to seal it in. And I think just on one side, I'm going to do a transfer. I really liked how they turned out the last time. There's that heart. I don't know if it's too big. There's that. Simple. There's just some wording. Maybe just some wording. Which I have no idea what it says. Yep, that's what it says. Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, that's coming off rather easy. Well, you know, when you seal it in with that weather defense, it's a good sealer. Ooh. Just simple. And then I'm just going to take some weather defense to seal it in. Oh, look at this. This is awesome, isn't it? So it's just a large, like, cage, cloche place to put some yummies. I feel like a couple of the screws are loose, like right there, right there. Those two are good. So hopefully I can get those to tighten up a little bit more. Oh yeah. Yeah, they just needed tightened. There we go. Sometimes you don't know if it's a flaw or if they are stripped. But I was hoping when I bought it that it was just that they just needed to be tightened. Now you think just spray it, call it good, but we want to be able to have something for the paint to grab onto. When it comes to metal, it's just metal sitting. So I'm just going to take some 80 grit, see if I can rough up this a little bit. Be careful, it's kind of on the thin side. Tried my best to sand it as much as I can. So now I'm going to go in with some rubbing alcohol to clean off the sanding dust, make sure there's not any residue on there that will prevent my paint from sticking. Yes, I tried to do the bottom too. Tried as you must see. So I got something. It's just easier. This is so thin, trying to paint that with a brush and have it stay. So I'm just going to do some of my go-to Laurel Green. I want to make sure that this is good and sealed in, so I'm going to use some weather defense. Was I able to snag one of the Dollar General sheet planters? I was. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay. Though I think it looks like there's a little bit of paint on there. It's not any big deal because we are going to go ahead and paint this up. I'm so excited to have one of these. And like I said, I think it's Creative Co-op that you can buy them wholesale, but I have to buy a whole bunch. So I don't know. I might give in because they sell really well either way. So I'm going to paint these up with white oak. It's a limestone chalk paint by Fusion. So it's an off-white. The one thing they have a lot of little legs to paint. I always try to get my hard areas first, so we're going to get underneath their little chins, the little ear area that you can't see when you flip it the other side. Of course, we're going to need 2 coats. I'm going to dry this coat with a heat gun. And I'm just going to mist it a little bit to put on the second coat. That'll help it go on a little bit smoother. Since you can water distress a paint like this, sometimes just putting the paint right on the dry paint, you start to distress it. And that's not what we want to do. So we just want to, the second coat doesn't take as much as the first coat. And it doesn't, I'm always looking for a distressed look, so it doesn't necessarily have to be like this pristine paint job, this perfect paint job. So, but you definitely need to, you can tell when there's not 2 coats of paint on when you needed more paint. Okay, now we can flip over. We're dry, and now we can paint the rest. Get those difficult areas up, and it seems like you don't have much to paint on the other side. Same process though. We'll take a couple coats. Need to water it down, so I'm not taking it off. And then I usually just, if I'm not spray painting one of these, I'm just going to go in with the rim because I usually do fill them up with something. So my paint is all dry. I'm going to seal this in. I don't want to distress it and get it down to that silver, so I'm going to use some weather defense to seal it all in. Time to get messy. So I'm going to take some Fusion wax and some of the DIY dusts, and we're going to see what kind of texture I can put on these. To make it look old and salvaged. Trying to do tapping motions. And since we sealed the paint in, we have a little bit of time to work. And we're testing out on the bottom. You do the safe areas first, right? Okay, here we go. Oop, let's start off with the dark first. And a little bit of the warm. I had a viewer just send me this brush, so this will work. And then you just kind of keep playing until you get the look that you want. And it's wax. Remember, it's wax, so it does not have to. So now that I have that on, see, we're looking for that patina. A couple different hues than just doing a wax. Flossing. We're going to keep on working. Spreading the wax out. The fun with crafting is there's not necessarily always a rhyme or reason. You just you get to be creative. You get to like, oh, well, let's do this. Let's try this. And then you'd be like, oh, back up. I don't like that. And that's okay. It's just paint. It's just stuff like this that you can paint over. You don't have to. See, how fun is that? You think at first, oh my gosh, it's a hot mess. But like I said, the mold that they made this on is just, it just has so much detail. And then the dusts are just bringing out the detail, the dust and the wax. Okay, to finish this up, we're going to spray it all with Weather Defense. I don't even know if I counted how many times I have done the sheet planner over, and I always think I get done with it and I'm like, no, this is my favorite. No, this is my favorite. No, I'm like, no, this is my favorite. So we're putting some Dollar Tree fluorofoam in because I usually resell it with some greenery in it. And usually it fits 4 of them. Well, this one's not going to. This one's going to make me, no, I'm going to make it work. There, we got it. Spanish moss, the world's messiest stuff, but it does its purpose because we like the fluorofoam, but we don't want to see the fluorofoam. I get these from CWI Gifts. It's a wholesale company. I think you can buy regular too. I don't quote me though. I'm not positive. And they're just candle rings, but I love the baby grass. And what I usually do is just break that wreath and then use these floral picks, or if you have bobby picks, hair pins, you think is a past hairdresser, I remember that name. And then we're just going to fill it up. And I don't usually sell them in my booth as I use them for stuff like this. Crunch. It's like going to the chiropractor. Crunch. Just get it filled up.